Hi everyone, it's Olivia and Addie. If you don't know who I am a full-time graphic designer and illustrator for content creators and streamers. I'm also a streamer myself, so if you have any questions about what's going on or you just want to hang out, I do stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Link will be down below. This video is basically going to be how to be a good client. And it's just good advice for working with an artist or any type of freelancer, to be honest. So the first one is absolutely the easiest, but the most important. I cannot stress this enough. Do your research. While I was writing the script, I kind of noticed that there was a pattern between all of the things that you need to look at, so I'm going to call them the 3 Ps. The 3 Ps are portfolio, pricing, and policies. First off, portfolio. You're going to want to make sure that you're looking at your artist, musician, the person you're commissioning's portfolio first. There are so many instances where people don't do this and then they end up unhappy with what they end up getting. And that's partially your fault, to be honest. You have to do your research and look at what that artist is capable of and if that fits what you envision. For example, I do a lot of flat illustrations and celestial landscapes. I am absolutely not the person who you go to for something realistic or heavily esportsy. This is also why if I see someone asking me for something that I know I'm not gonna kill it at, I'm not going to accept that commission. Pricing. So this was kind of a no-brainer. You're gonna want to make sure that you can actually afford the artist's work. And please, for the love of all that is good, do not haggle. Their prices are their prices. If something's price isn't listed, or if you don't see something in their portfolio but think that they're still a good match, just reach out. For example, I don't have emotes on my pricing page, but that's because I don't get asked to do them very often. But I've done my own. I've done commissions for them. Lastly, policies. First off, make sure that their commissions are open or find out when they will be. For me, I don't ever open my commissions necessarily. I have a wait list that I work off of. And whenever I have openings, I reach out to that waitlist. All of that aside, please familiarize yourself with your artist's policies so that you don't end up crossing a line. I personally don't work over DMs. I use Twitter and Discord for fun mostly, so it's very jarring when someone asks me about work when I'm trying to just chill. I put this policy on my website, I have it in my contract, and I also have it on my Trello board for my queue. If you DM me, I know that you didn't read any of it. Next up, budget for a tip. While tips aren't required, they help an artist build their business and do what they do a little bit more sustainably. There's a lot of work that goes into running a commission business that has nothing to do with actually working on commissions. For example, like making a website, updating that website, posting on social media, managing your finances, talking to new leads, writing contracts. All of these things take so much time, and commission artists don't get paid for any of it. Tips also cover transaction fees. If you buy a panel set for $50, that $50 is not all going into your artist's bank account. Some of it is going to PayPal or Venmo or whatever. As for an amount of tip to budget for, I recommend 10 to 20%, but whatever you can afford to let your artists know that you appreciate their time is such a big help. This next one, I feel like all of these are really important, but this next one, oh, I wish more people knew about this. Giving good and timely feedback. Custom art is a collaborative process. Your artist doesn't just magically make something appear based on nothing. We can't read your mind and we can't whip up the most perfect thing right off the bat. That's not going to happen. Remove that expectation from your brain. It does not happen ever. For me personally, my illustrations usually end up with 6 to 9 rounds of revisions, sometimes even more, and that's not including sketches. You, the client, are part of the design process. Be prepared for that. As far as feedback goes, it's totally okay if you don't know exactly how to give feedback. So here are a few tips that I like to give my clients for giving as helpful as possible feedback. Firstly, using visual references. Artists are visual people, and even a photo of a sketch that you did on a post-it note in like 2 seconds is going to be such a big help. Sending references of other people's work, or the artist's work even better, is also very much encouraged. Tip number 2, instead of just saying that you don't like something, try to figure out why you don't like it. And better yet, try to figure out what might be better. This gives your artist a lot more to work with than just, that font is wrong. So let's talk about the timely part of feedback. This is so important. Be swift, but not too swift. Take the time to actually look at what your artist has sent you. Your first impression might be that it's amazing, the most perfect thing you've ever seen. But then a couple days later, you notice a couple things that are just really, really bother you. But you already told the artist that it's perfect and they've already moved on. Just pace yourself. You are allowed to sit with things for a day or two. Artists would much rather be aware of concerns sooner than later. If there's something you notice that you aren't quite sure about, tell your artist. That said, don't take too much time. For every client that takes weeks to give me feedback, there's someone in my queue who's eager to get their project started. So be respectful of your artist's time. If you won't be able to respond for a while, maybe you're going on vacation or traveling, or you just need a little bit more time, tell your artist. Nearly every commissioned artist has a story of a client completely ghosting them. Don't be that person. The next tip I have for being a good client is something I feel like we don't really talk about very much. And that's understanding what rights you have to your artwork. Especially pay attention to merch rights. If you plan on using something to make money with, make sure you have the right rights to do that. This is all especially important for things like emotes and illustrations. Don't put an emote on a t-shirt without telling your artist. This is for a couple of reasons. One of them is that your emote, if you stretch it out real big, is gonna look like poop. The other thing is that you have paid for an emote, not a shirt design. The next thing to be wary about is revision rights. While you paid an artist to create something for you, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have complete ownership of it and that you can just do whatever you want with it. Personally, if I see someone altering something I made for them, it hurts. It hurts, honestly. It makes me feel like I didn't do a good enough job, or they didn't feel comfortable enough with coming back to me for those changes. This means that any alterations, recolors, additions by other artists without permission are generally not cool. At the very least, you will upset your artist. And if you aren't sure about anything, just ask. Not every artist is even thinking about usage rights, so be the person to bring that up. The next tip for being a good client: credit your artist. Do you have a credit panel? If not, go reach out to your artist right now. Go make your own, or check out the panels in my shop. Get a credit panel. Nearly all of my commissions have come from referrals. Someone seeing something I made for someone else and asking who made it. I can trace back most of my clients to just 3 or 4 projects I did. I personally also have a Made by Livy Loon panel that I include with every set of panels in my shop, as well as most commissions. If you're using it, bless your entire heart and soul, you beautiful angel. Another way to continue to support your artist is to retweet and share their work that isn't yours. The last and most simple way to be a good commission client, listen closely, be nice. Your artist, at the end of the day, is a person. Yes, you've hired them for a service, but that doesn't mean they aren't human. It's important to remember that custom work is draining. It takes time. It requires emotional energy that we are all short of right now. And rest is part of the creative process. I know there are some scammy artists out there, but if you've done your research, you can avoid them. If something goes wrong with your commission, don't assume the worst. Ask your artist about it. Talk to them. They probably want to fix it as much as you do. So those are my biggest tips on how to be a good commission client. If you are an artist yourself and you would like to add some more tips, please do so in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye!